The Broken Gate. The sun was hot above the desert of Zarvia. Sand blew through the ruins like whispers of a forgotten time. In the middle of this ancient place, a human named Jack Travers stood alone, facing a strange stone gate. The gate was old, covered in alien symbols, glowing faint blue lines, and locked tight. No one had ever opened it. Behind him, an alien girl stood with her arms crossed. Her name was Nira. She was tall, blue-skinned, with silver eyes and long hair tied back. She belonged to the Zenthari, a proud alien race who believed humans were nothing more than lucky survivors. "You really think you can fix that?" Nira asked with a smirk. "We tried for centuries." Jack didn't look up. He was busy connecting wires, checking pulses, and listening to the faint hum inside the gate. "I don't need centuries," he replied. "Just a spark and a few good guesses." Nira scoffed. Typical human, always guessing. Jack didn't argue. He wiped sweat from his forehead and knelt closer to the strange control panel at the base of the gate. He pulled out an old Earth-made tool. Nothing special, just a metal rod with a power core. "This isn't just about science," he said quietly. "It's about listening." "Listening," she repeated, confused. "This place is speaking. You just never stop to hear it." Nira rolled her eyes. She had grown up hearing legends of the temple gate, the machine left behind by the first ones. Ancient aliens said to possess godlike power. Every Zenthari engineer had tried to unlock its secrets. None had succeeded. But Jack wasn't like them. He wasn't raised on pride or prophecy. He was raised on junk, failure, and trying again. The gate began to hum louder as Jack connected two wires. Sparks flew. The blue lines on the gate started to flicker. Nira's eyes widened. "Wait, how are you doing that?" Jack didn't answer. His focus was deep now. His hands moved fast but carefully. The symbols on the gate began to shift, like they were alive, like they were watching him. Nira stepped forward, no longer mocking. She had never seen this reaction before. "That shouldn't be possible," she whispered. "But it is," Jackie replied. Suddenly, the gate pulsed with light. A deep sound echoed from beneath the ground, like something ancient was waking up. The earth shook, dust fell from the ceiling, and then, a click. The gate opened halfway. Behind it was darkness, and stairs leading down into the unknown. Nira stared at Jack, stunned. "You opened it." Jack stood slowly. His hands were dirty, his eyes tired, but he smiled. "Just a little, but enough." "How?" she asked again, her voice softer now. "Because I didn't treat it like a weapon or a wall," Jack said. "I treated it like a friend." Nira had no words. For the first time in her life, the stories she had been told about human chaos, about their clumsiness, began to shake. Maybe they weren't just survivors. Maybe they were something more. Jack looked down the stairs. It was dark, it was cold, but something was waiting. Something old. Something powerful. "I'm going down," he said. Nira stepped forward. "You'll get lost. The lower levels were sealed long ago." "That's why I'm going," he replied. "To unseal what needs to be unsealed." She hesitated. Then, "I'm coming too," she finally said. Jack looked at her, surprised. "You sure?" "You may be reckless," she said, "but you're not dumb, and I'm not letting a human show me up in my own temple." They both smiled. A strange friendship had started, and together, human and alien stepped into the dark, not knowing that their journey had just begun. The song of circuits, the stairs, creaked beneath their feet as Jack and Nira descended into the shadows. Cold air wrapped around them like a whisper from the past. Dust floated in the air, glowing faint blue from the energy lines that ran through the walls. Jack held a small flashlight. Its beam cut through the dark, revealing walls made of stone, metal, and something else, something living. "What is this place?" Jack asked quietly. Nira didn't answer right away. She ran her fingers across the wall. It's older than our history. The Xanthari say it was built by the ancients before stars had names. Jack paused. Why did they leave it behind? No one knows, Naira said. But we've always believed this place holds their secrets. As they walked deeper, the walls began to hum. Soft music, like wind over glass, echoed around them. Jack stopped. You hear that? Yes, Naira said. That's not possible. They reached a large chamber, circular, with a tall pillar in the center. Symbols glowed on the floor. The pillar had several rings around it, like a musical instrument. Jack stepped closer, examining the shapes. These symbols, they look like notes. Music? Naira asked. Exactly. This isn't just a machine. It's a song. Naira's voice shook. That can't be. This is technology, not art. Jack smiled. Maybe it's both. He took out his datapad and scanned the symbols. The machine gave a low pulse, then went silent. Try again, Naira said. Jack touched the pillar directly. The pillar responded. It began to play a note. Just one, pure and clear. Naira gasped. That was a Xanthari prayer tone. Jack looked at her. You know it? Yes. We sing it during the coming-of-age ceremony. Then sing it again, Jack said, stepping back. Maybe that's what it's waiting for. Naira hesitated. Singing was sacred to her people, but something deep inside her stirred. Curiosity, respect, trust. She closed her eyes and began to hum the note. Soft, clear. The pillar glowed, then it answered with another note. A melody began, one note from Naira, one note from the machine. Together they made a pattern. Jack watched as circuits lit up in the walls. Doors opened, the ground trembled slightly. You're syncing with it, he said. You're part of the key. Naira's voice wavered, but she kept going. Each note she sang was returned, perfectly matched by the ancient machine. The room began to glow brighter. At the end of her song, the pillar split open. Inside was a floating crystal, pulsing with light. Jack stepped forward. Is that? It's a core memory, Naira whispered. A gift from the ancients. We thought they were all gone. The crystal hovered between them. Symbols floated in the air around it. Jack reached out. The moment his hand touched it, everything changed. A vision burst into his mind. He saw a war, ancient starships battling above dying planets. He saw the ancients, tall and glowing, building, the gates and the songs. He saw a warning, a dark force coming from beyond the stars. And then, silence. Jack stumbled back, eyes wide. What did you see? Naira asked. A message, he said. A warning. These gates weren't made to hide treasure. They were made to stop something terrible. Naira's face grew pale. What kind of thing? Jack didn't answer right away, then slowly. Something that eats light. Behind them, a new tunnel opened, deeper, darker. The machine had only given them the first piece. Naira looked at Jack. Do we keep going? We have to, he said. Because now it's not just about unlocking secrets. It's about stopping what's coming. The melody faded, but the echo of it stayed with them. Human and alien. Logic and song. Circuit and soul. Together, they stepped into the tunnel. Because the song wasn't finished yet. And what lay ahead would test more than their knowledge. It would test their courage. Into the fire chamber. The air grew hotter as Jack and Naira walked down the new tunnel. The walls glowed with red-orange lights. Steam hissed from cracks in the stone. Somewhere below, the deep sound of metal grinding echoed like a giant breathing. Naira's steps slowed. This is the fire chamber, she whispered. Jack looked at her. You've heard of it? She nodded. Only in stories. It was said to be a place where the ancients tested the brave. No Xanthari has ever entered it and returned. Jack gave a half smile. Then I guess we'll be the first. The tunnel opened into a wide room. It was huge, like the inside of a volcano. Lava flowed beneath glass floors. Red crystals floated in the air like frozen fire. At the center stood a large console with spinning rings. The rings were shaped like planets circling a glowing core. Suddenly, the door behind them slammed shut. They both turned. The passage had sealed. Then came the voice. "Trial begins," it said. It wasn't spoken in any language they knew, yet they understood it perfectly. Flames rose around the walls. The room began to shake. Jack looked at Nira. "What kind of trial is this?" "I don't know," she replied. "Maybe a test of strength?" "Or intelligence," Jack said, stepping toward the console. As he got closer, the rings began spinning faster. Symbols appeared in the air, glowing with heat. "Look," Nira pointed. "That's a star map, but the paths are wrong." Jack studied it. "No, they're not wrong. They're scrambled. We have to fix the roots." "How?" "Like a puzzle. We connect the right planets." He reached for the first ring. It was burning hot, but he didn't pull away. "You'll burn your hands," Nira shouted. "Then give me something to hold," he said, teeth clenched. She threw him a cloth from her pack. He wrapped it around his hand and grabbed the ring. Slowly, carefully, he twisted it. One of the paths lit up blue. "That's one," he said. Nira stepped beside him and took another ring. "Together," she said. "Together," Jack agreed. As they worked, the heat in the room rose. Sweat poured down their faces. Their hands ached. The symbols changed faster now, testing them, pushing them. Then, a mistake. Nira moved one ring too far. A red light flashed. Lava cracked the floor near them. The voice returned. "Error. Restart." Jack grabbed her hand. "We don't have time for mistakes." I thought it was correct," she said. "It's okay. Let's try again." This time they moved slower, thoughtfully, and as they did, Jack noticed something strange. Each correct move played a note. It was a melody, different from before, but just as beautiful. "It's another song," he said. "A fire song," Nira whispered. "Yes. This isn't just a test of logic. It's a test of harmony. We need to feel the right path, not just see it." Together they moved the final ring. The core turned blue. The lava cooled beneath the glass. The walls opened. A new door revealed a small platform, and floating above it was another crystal. This one burned like the sun, but did not scorch. Jack stepped forward. "Let's see what this one shows." As he touched it, a new vision came. He saw a planet, burning, screaming. He saw creatures of shadow and flame, devouring light, feeding on energy, killing stars. He saw the ancients, running, building the temples, hiding the crystals. And then, a human face. It was his. Jack dropped to his knees. Nira caught him. "What did you see?" He looked up. His voice was low. "The enemy is real. It's coming. And we were meant to stop it." "We?" she asked. "Humans, Xanthari, everyone." Together, Nira looked at the crystal. For the first time in her life, she understood what unity meant. Not pride, not war, but trust. The door opened again, this time into a tall, dark hallway filled with silver light. "We go forward?" she asked. Jack nodded. No turning back now. And side by side, they walked into the light. The next trial was waiting. The trial of minds. The hallway of silver light stretched endlessly in front of Jack and Nira. It was cold now, so cold it bit into their skin. The warmth from the fire chamber had faded, replaced by a strange stillness. The walls didn't hum. The floor didn't shake. It was too quiet. Nira whispered, "This place doesn't test our strength." Jack nodded. "No, it tests something else." "Our minds?" she asked. "Exactly." At the end of the hallway, a door slid open without a sound. Inside was a round room. smooth, empty, glowing with soft blue light. In the middle stood 2 chairs made of glass, and between them floated a single glowing orb. A voice spoke, clear and calm. To continue, you must open your minds. Alone you fail, together you see. Naira looked uneasy. What does that mean? Jack stepped toward the chairs. We sit, we face each other, and we trust. Trust? Naira scoffed. I barely know you. And yet we've made it this far. They sat. The orb floated down between them, humming. Suddenly it sent a pulse of light. And then, everything changed. Jack blinked. He was no longer in the room. He stood on a street. Earth. Rain poured down. He was younger, maybe 18. His hands were shaking. He held a broken data pad. Someone had just stolen from him. Again. He looked up. A sign read, Hope Shelter, closed permanently. He sank to the ground, wet and cold. He felt worthless, alone, until a hand reached down. Naira's voice echoed in his mind. Is this your memory? Yeah, Jack replied, heart pounding. You were just a boy. I had nothing, no home, no family, just a mind full of questions. But you survived, she said. Barely. And then, shift, the world, blurred. Now Naira stood in her memory. A training arena. Zenthari warriors circled her. She was just a child. Small, fragile. One of them shouted, You'll never be strong enough. Go home. She ran, cried, and sat alone under a glowing tree until her mother found her and sang her the Song of Stars. Jack watched silently. They mocked you, he said. Every day, she whispered, until I stopped listening to them. You were stronger than all of them, he said. Naira looked at him surprised. No one had ever said that to her before. The orb pulsed again. They were back in the room. But something had changed. The chairs were gone. The orb floated between them, glowing brighter. The voice returned. You have shared your truths. Now you are ready. Ready for what? Jack asked. To know the real enemy, the voice replied. A wall slid open behind them. Inside was a floating screen, showing a galaxy map. At the edge of the stars, a black cloud moved, slow, silent, endless. That's the darkness I saw in the vision, Jack whispered. Naira stared. It's eating stars. And heading this way, the voice said. How do we stop it? Jack asked. By unlocking all the memories, the voice answered. By becoming more than just your own species. By becoming one. Jack and Naira stood silently. Everything made sense now. The gates, the crystals, the songs. The ancients hadn't built these places to keep people out. They had built them to prepare people, to awaken them, to remind them that survival wasn't just about strength, but about understanding. As they left the chamber, the orb followed them. What do we call this thing? Jack asked, looking at the floating orb. Naira smiled. How about echo? Echo, Jack nodded. I like that. The orb pulsed in agreement. It had a name now, and their minds were no longer closed. They were ready for the next challenge, whatever it would be. The Chamber of Shadows. The tunnel grew darker with each step. The silver lights from the last chamber faded, and now shadows crept along the walls. Jack held a small light, but even that seemed to grow dimmer. Beside him, Naira whispered, Something is watching. I feel it too, Jack replied. They had passed through fire, music, and memory, but this chamber, this was different. It was colder than space and silent. Even Echo the orb floated quietly behind them, its glow low and unsure. They reached a tall gate. No lights, no sounds, only a phrase carved into the metal. Know the dark to protect the AI. Light. The door opened. and everything turned black. Jack blinked. He couldn't see his hands, couldn't see Naira. "Naira?" he called. No answer. He took a step forward, and the floor was gone. He fell. Not down, but inward. Suddenly, he was standing. Back, on Earth, but the city was empty. The sky was red. Buildings were broken. Smoke rose from distant fires, and standing in the middle of the street was himself, but darker, colder, angrier. "You failed," the dark Jack said. "You couldn't save anyone." "You're not real," Jack whispered. "Aren't I?" The shadow asked. "I am every time you walked away, every time you gave up. I'm not that man anymore." "But I am still inside you," the shadow said, stepping closer. "Waiting." Jack clenched his fists. "Maybe you are, but I don't follow you anymore." The shadow laughed, then vanished. The blackness cracked, a shimmer of light. Jack dropped to his knees, shaking. "You okay?" a voice asked. "Naira." She looked shaken too. "What did you see?" he asked. "My father," she whispered. "He called me weak. Said I would destroy our legacy." "Was it real?" "It felt real," she said. "But I faced him." "So did I." They stood. The darkness tried to press in again, but this time, it didn't feel so strong. Echo floated forward. It pulsed, softly. "Shadow trials complete," the orb said. "You have passed." A wall opened in front of them, filled with faint blue light. Inside was a crystal, but this one was black, smooth as glass, cold as space. Jack reached for it. His fingers brushed the surface. The final vision came. A fleet of ships, Synthari, human, dozens of species, fighting together against a black force of moving clouds, like living night. The ancients had failed to stop it, but this time, the galaxy had one last chance. The vision ended. Jack looked at Naira. "We're not just finding crystals," he said. "We're building a message," Naira replied. "One the galaxy must hear." They stepped out of the shadow chamber, stronger, closer, and with a new truth in their hearts. The greatest enemy wasn't darkness. It was forgetting who we are when the dark surrounds us. The bridge of unity. The path after the shadow chamber was quiet. No fire, no songs, no tests. Just a long, glowing road made of crystal and silver. It stretched into open space with nothing. Below, nothing above, just stars. Jack and Naira walked in silence. Behind them floated Echo, the small glowing orb that had guided them through every trial. "Where are we now?" Jack asked. "I think this is the final step," Naira said softly. A new voice echoed around them. Calm, powerful. "Welcome to the Bridge of Unity." Suddenly the stars lit up. Holograms shimmered in the space around them, hundreds of images, humans, aliens, robots, soldiers, farmers, children, all faces, all species. "These are all the ones who passed before," Echo said. "The ones who tried to unite the galaxy." "Did they succeed?" Jack asked. "Some did. Some failed. All tried," the orb answered. A platform rose ahead. On it were two pedestals, one glowing with human symbols, the other with Zenthari glyphs. Echo spoke again. "Two souls, two worlds, two keys." "What keys?" Naira asked. "The key is not a thing," Echo replied. "The key is you." Jack stepped to the human pedestal. Nearer to the Zenthari one. When they placed their hands down, the platform rumbled. The holograms swirled faster. Now they showed war, burning planets, screaming people. Then peace, hands shaking hands. All because two people chose unity over power, two people from different worlds. Like them, a new vision formed. This one wasn't ancient. It was now. The black enemy, the devouring cloud, was approaching the border systems. It had already consumed 3 stars, and it was growing. We're running out of time, Jack said. We can't face it alone, Naira replied. Then let's not. Their pedestals lit up. A new crystal rose between them, golden, radiating warmth and strength. The Unity Core, Echo said. It will send your message to every world. Message? Jack asked. Yes, said the orb. You have faced fire, mind, shadow, and truth. Now tell the galaxy what you've learned. Jack looked at Naira. They both knew what to say. Jack stepped forward. To every world that can hear us, he said. We are not enemies, we are not strangers, we are survivors. And together we're stronger than anything that wants to end us. Naira stepped beside him. We don't need the same blood, or the same skin, or the same sky. We only need one thing, trust. If you can still hear, if you still hope, come to the beacon. We will stand together, Jack said. And we will not fall alone, Naira added. The golden light exploded across the stars. Billions of receivers blinked to life. Worlds paused and listened. The bridge of unity began to rise. A new temple was forming above a place called Celestara, where all species could meet. A final message echoed from the stars. The guardians have awakened, the gate is open, the last stand begins now. Jack and Naira looked out at the stars. They had done it, but it was only the beginning. The last beacon. The galaxy didn't answer at once. For days there was silence. Jack and Naira stood at the center of Celestara, the newly formed temple that rose above the stars. Built from old technology, ancient memories, and glowing crystal, it floated like a beacon in the sky. They waited and wondered. Maybe no one heard us, Jack whispered. Or maybe they're just afraid, Naira replied. Aren't we all? Then one ship arrived, then 3, then dozens. Alien vessels, old human freighters, scout ships, healer boats. All different, all broken in some way. Some barely flew. Some glowed with strange colors. Some looked like they had escaped battles, but they came. From every corner of the galaxy. Jack stood at the landing pad as the first one opened. A child stepped out. Skin made of soft green crystal, eyes like stars. She held up a hand. We heard you. Jack smiled. You're the first. We won't be the last, she said. Soon the temple filled. Hundreds of voices. Different languages, but one shared message. We're tired of fighting. We want to live. Echo. The glowing orb hovered in the center of the ceiling, spinning slowly. It spoke again. The enemy is near. A huge map appeared. The black cloud, the devourer, had passed through 6 more systems. It had consumed everything. Suns, moons, people. Now, it moved toward Unity space. Jack stood in front of the gathering. We are not warriors, he said. We are survivors. But that's what makes us strong, Naira added. We've all lost. But not everything. Not hope, Jack said. The beacon pulsed, and then the stars shifted. A ship appeared, unlike any other, the Ark of the Ancients. It had been hidden, waiting, and now, awakened by the Unity Core, it returned. Echo's voice was soft now. You have earned it, the last gift of the Ancients, a ship powered not by war but by unity. And it's ours? Naira asked. It is yours to guide. The Ark was massive, big enough to carry entire cities, but inside, it was quiet, peaceful. The heart was a crystal chamber. Jack placed the Unity Core inside. The ship came to life. Lights danced, engines glowed, and thousands of beings stepped aboard. Where are we going? Someone asked. Jack looked out at the stars. To the dark, he said, to face what's coming. As the Ark launched, a wave of ships followed. The sky shimmered, not with weapons, but with hope. For the first time, in centuries, species who had hated each other now flew side by side. Enemies turned allies, fear turned into courage, and at the front, stood a human and a Zenthari girl. In the distance, the darkness moved, like a storm across space. Jack took Naira's, and, "Whatever happens, we end it together," he said. "Together," she repeated. The Ark's engines roared. The stars bent around it. The final message from Echo echoed one last time. "When the light stands as one, even the night must bow." And then, they vanished into the black, not with fear, but with fire, with unity, with the last beacon of hope.